Hey, 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 my magnetic besties. It's me, Carla, the rich auntie, the oracle, and the high priestess. Welcome. So, today I wanted to start doing more videos about um, the weekly rhythm of the spiritual path and wealth integration and how I've come to want to start doing this, especially for the top of the new year, something that I have been doing, but to take it to the next level. So today I want to talk about the return or the remembrance of the soft woman as far as her health, her wealth, being sovereign, like being who she truly is, and not apologizing for that because Black women deserve softness, sovereign wealth without apology. So that's what we're going to get into today. So, like I said before, I'm Carla Scott. I'm here to speak with you today about a little bit about my story. So, let's talk about the wound. Like, where did all of like the trauma and everything come from? So, let's fast forward from that until the present day because that's pretty much where it's like as far as my health is concerned. Like when we don't talk about our issues, when we don't express ourselves in a healthy way or feel like we are being silenced, um, and not having a voice. And that comes from the childhood too, not being able to speak up for yourself. This is, whatever happens in this house stays in this house. So even though my health is like low iron and low hemoglobin levels, and some people, I don't want to say they take it as a joke or not as serious, but it's like, oh, that's the cold friend, or oh my gosh, she's always eating ice, she's always wearing a coat or jacket. But some of us deal with it really, really bad. And during this, journey of like having low iron and low hemoglobin levels, I've also discovered that I have fibroids, I have cysts, I have endometriosis, adenomyosis. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure, but I'll put it on across the screen. So all of these things dealing with like my womb and how I'm able to like navigate that. This is something that's very new. It's been about a year now, but I'm going to be getting surgery to remove everything just to because of the heavy bleeding and all of that stuff. So it's just been like difficult to deal with. And now that I am sick, and they won't perform surgery on you if you're sick. So me trying to get better, stay hydrated, got my water, and taking better care of myself. So that's where the rich auntie, the oracle, and the high priestess comes in. I'm the rich auntie. That's what I say. Spoil the kids and everything like that. But to me, it's more than that. It's passing down the knowledge of, if you need help, ask for help. Stop trying to be the superwoman or trying to be the superman. Saying no. Respect your own boundaries and let other people know what your boundaries are. Um, like I say, staying hydrated, going to the doctors if needed, when needed, going to therapy if needed, when needed. Let me check my books, like putting yourself as a priority, like not going outside of, your schedule, and, you being always being inconvenienced of the things that you're trying to do. So for this year, as far as like my wealth story, is really getting back to what I was doing last year. Last year, I started to put like money in the stash account. I'm not sure, you can download it on Android or Apple. I have Androids. I downloaded it on my Android, and I was putting in $100 a week. So how all that started was a couple years before then, I decided to stop smoking and to stop drinking heavily. Like, drinking was just like ill, like drinking the 211s, Four Locos, so disgusting. So, and then I was like, okay, once I did that at the top of the year, I want to say 2024. So I was like, okay, so all the money that I don't spend on smoking cigarettes or drinking or things like that, I was like, okay, I will invest it in this stash account. So $100 every week, and then up I think I want to say for about 4 months, 4 or 5 months, not quite sure, but I know I got it to about $1,800, and then I had got sick. So I had to take some of that money out to take care of, my health and everything like that. So I say all that to say this, that I know I can do it. I can start, even though like I'm starting over again, but I know that it is possible, And, the previous years have shown me that I am resilient, that I can overcome. If I put my mind to it, I can stop, the bad habits and, move into a more healthier, state. So that's pretty much, my story as far as like what I'm trying to do for myself. Like I say, like the past traumas was more so for me was not speaking up, always quiet. That's why I'm very observant and very aware of myself and my surroundings, because I'm always listening and always watching. So, and that's like a survival thing, you know what I mean? So I know we talk about like getting out of survival mode, but at the same time, I still take it like it's a protective mechanism for me, but I don't have to stay there. Like I can speak up for myself. I can go to therapy and talk about the things that are bothering me and the things that I am progressing on and the things I would like to share, because they always say don't share, your goals and dreams with people who don't even have their own goals and dreams, because then they kind of want to deter you from, your progress. So I take like most of my issues and my problems to my therapy session. And then, like, if I feel like, I'll just take note of things that I want to talk about next time, or just, continue to work on the things that we've talked about in therapy. Um, so to go from, having my stash account to not having it, and to like to have to rebuild it. I mean, I'm grateful that the fact that I had that mindset at that time to actually even try to do something like that. So now I'm gonna go big and go bolder. So I'm gonna be taking a class that's coming up this I want to say in a couple weeks, and the lady that's hosting the class online is a business seminar. She's going to be talking about buying land, how to build your different avenues to go with your high yield savings account. um we're going to talk about stockpiling, like for your freezer, your refrigerator, your toiletries, um, your pantry, and things like that. So, like I said, I put it on TikTok as far as the different avenues of, accounts receivable. That's money that's coming towards me, and accounts payable. That is the circulation that is going out. So I'm not going to longer say that I have debt. Those are accounts payable, even though it's pretty much the same thing, but the word debt is just ill. So we're going to say accounts payable. So those are the accounts that I need to be able to pay, that I am able to pay through my accounts receivable. Not that for me. So, and also too, I'm going to be looking into doing like group um, land purchasing as well. I'm going to look into that and research more about that. And with the land, the actual land purchasing for the class, we're going to do it through sellers financing. So that is going to be very interesting to learn more about that. So I don't know. It's like a new journey. Like I say, even though my health is, we're on the road to recovery, pretty much. Like I am healed. I'm going to speak life over myself, and that's how I'm going to look at it. Like I know the recovery. I'm going to have to take my time. Like really not push myself to try to, do more than what that is required of me. Or not even that. It's pretty much just say no and sit down somewhere and take a break, and rest and heal. So with that, I'm going to be also too. I joined a Facebook group. It's called oh my goodness, I can't remember what it's called. I'm going to put it on the screen too. But what we're going to be doing is writing letters, pretty much. From what I saw inside of the Facebook group, it seems like this will be more so of a long-term investment because of how it works. It's pretty much like sweepstake coins, letters through the postal service. So that's something I've heard about and I've seen it, but it's something that I was never interested in until now. So we're going to give that a whirl. I know the ladies say it does take a while for you to receive payments, but I said you just never know. So if the money comes later, then that's the opportunity where I can reinvest the money. So I don't want to look at it. It's a waste of my time. Like the funds aren't coming, quickly. So it's one of those things you just have to trust the process type of situation. So that's what I'm going to be mindful of as far as like not looking forward to that money, very soon. But you just never know. Like I said, it's different companies or whatever. If you're into letter writing, or I've ever heard of that, how the ladies write letters to like sweepstakes, and you write so many letters and you get so much money. It's like a weekly thing, but like I said too, the payout takes a while, so it's like about more so patience and a long-term investment type of thing. So that'll be another one of my accounts receivables, like money that's a source of income that will come to me. So I will just pretty much just reinvest in that into my high yield savings account, and look into more land and purchasing and things like that. So I mean, it's like, so it seems like it's so far fetched. Like, are you really gonna do this? But made up my mind, like, it's time to do something different, and it's time to explore different options and a different way of living as well. Because I've even considered like living in a tiny house. Like, who thought it? Who would have thought it? That I would consider that, because like the apartment that we're in now, you might as well be in a tiny house. I'm grateful for having shelter and all of that, but the amount of money that we pay for rent a year, we could just pay, over time. And by the time we finish paying off the tiny home, we don't have to worry about no more. Just pay for, I think, your electric and all that stuff. Whatever comes else with it, you just won't be having to pay all that rent. And just imagine how much money you could save to invest in like the land and stuff. So I'm really interested on this, interested and exciting to learn about land and investing, and like literally compounding my money, like making my money work for me. And that's where the rich auntie come in, like to pass this knowledge on. It's not just to be like, oh, you live in this big house, and you have all these things, but those are material things. I want to have like real live, assets where I can pass on down to my nieces and nephews. And I do have a bonus daughter, and if she, decides to have children in the future, they, will have the knowledge as well. So they will not be able to say, no one told me. Yes, because I did. I told you guys to research. You might not be interested in the way I'm going about it, but you can do your own research and Google things, and reach out to, like, get a credit union, and you can talk to them to see what things that they have to offer and stuff like that. Life insurance is very important. um so yeah, like like being like 40 plus, it's like, oh my god, I'm so far behind. But at the same time, so we're not going to worry about our age. We're not going to worry about, oh, we're so far behind, or looking at pocket watching other people's money and what they're doing. It's pretty much just like focusing on me and taking a chance and taking the opportunities as they come. Like I say, the letter writing thing is very different. I've never done anything like that before. And also like taking the class as far as like really structuring things. Like today is Monday. Happy Monday. And for me, it's about order and grounding. So taking notes of like your accounts payable, the money that's circulating out, and the accounts receivable, the money that is coming in, and how would allocate those funds to my HYSA, my stockpile, and like divvy up those things too. And also working on paying down my accounts payables of like outstanding things that I owe, as far as like credit cards and things like that, to like get those balances down to at least 3% or 4%. It's like I say, this is something like you really have to be like disciplined about, and really motivated, and really want it. You know what I mean? Like I say, this economy, we just don't know what can happen, and things are just like up in the air. But at the same time, I don't want to like get so distracted or caught up in that and not even try, because during down times, this is where people come up. And I just want to take the time to like really get my mind focused on taking these classes, learning, and actually applying. It's one thing to like learn things and take these classes and don't apply them, because that doesn't even make sense. So like being a hoarder of information is not, how's that helping you or others? So yeah. So that is what I'm going to be focusing on, and that's what I've been focusing on since the top of the year. Like I said, is I don't want to look at as me starting over. I want to look at it more so as me just continuing it. You know what I mean? Just picking up where I left off, pretty much, and not beating myself up about, oh, if I would have just kept going, if I didn't get sick. I mean, things happen. That's life. And I'm just thankful that I did have that mindset, like I said before, to actually start that stash account and be able to have that money. Like I said, with being able to like, just go back and just, just add the money back pretty much. And just like, as more money comes in, just, you know, recirculate, to different things where it's gonna, the interest is gonna compound, and then I can just like keep reinvesting into other opportunities. So it sounds like a lot, but like I say, I'm just taking 1 month at a time. I'm not, looking too far ahead as far as that's concerned. Like, because you get overwhelmed when you're trying to focus on, okay, this month, this month, this month, this month. I mean, as far as like your bills and stuff, that's going to be standard, like your rent and all that stuff, especially with the renewals and everything is coming up. I know for us, our rent went up about $100. I know, like for us, that's not bad. It could be worse. I've been hearing people's mortgages have been going up by $1,000. That is ridiculous. And so to like have that, that dream and that idea, that desire to wanting to own the land and what to do with the land, and like really going all in, and like not being a hermit and getting out of my, my shell, and doing things differently. Like really, like I say, taking care of my health is, my first priority, because without my health, I mean, there's no point in any of this, because all of my money is going to be going to, like I say, whatever the insurance doesn't pay is going to be going to that. So once my health is under control and I am, stable and ready to roll, then it's going to be pretty much up from here. I know it's going to be some downs or whatever, but I'm just going to take them as lessons. We have to be realistic. Like I say, things happen, life happens. You have this idea of how things are going to go. And when they don't go that way, or you feel like, it's kind of strained off, then that's when people, want to give up. But I just say, just get back on the horse and just keep riding. So, yeah, so that's all I have for today. All right, guys, happy Monday. Thank you guys so much. I'm Carla again. Please subscribe, like, comment, share. And like I say, I probably will be coming back and back and back to do more of these type of talks and give updates too of where I am. I'm not going to give like exact numbers. Maybe I'll do percentages, like okay, like I of course, like we're going to start at 0%, and then we're going to, like, you know what I mean, say like how much growth has happened between now and probably like in March or so. Like I said, I have some other ARs coming in, so I'm going to use, allocate those funds to start with my high yield savings account. I don't know why I be trying to say the acronym. My high yield savings account. Get started on my stockpile. Get ready for this class that's coming up in a couple weeks to really hone down and know how to like research. So this will be like the beginning of, an exciting journey to actually say, oh, I own, land and things like that. And also how to keep things, private too. Like we can discuss, the things that we're doing, but I don't know. Like, how much do you say or how much don't you say? You know what I mean? Like as far as like your journey and everything like that. I guess it's just how it depends on how you feel. So that's how I'm gonna take it. Like I say, like do your own research, like lock in with, if you've been watching someone who's talking about how they've, on their wealth journey and how they were able to do it, and actually have receipts on how they're doing it. Like I say, just take, take a risk, invest in yourself, take a chance on yourself, and do that. So I just want you guys to, maybe this background be changing pretty soon. I love that for me. All right, guys, you take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.